Evangel, it's almost 3:30. Are we in order to begin?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we are ready to go.
All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the meeting of the Development Permit Panel for Thursday, September 12th, 2024. Today on the panel, you have myself, Wayne Craig, the General Manager of Planning and Development, Roland Zwag, the General Manager of Engineering and Public Works, and Kirk Taylor, the Director of Real Estate Services. In terms of staff on hand, we have a number of staff from the Planning and Development Department. We have Josh Reese, Director of Development, Suzanne Smith, Program Coordinator Development, Ashley Kwan, and Tolu Alibi here to join us, as well as the applicant's team. The panel deals with form and character, things such as exterior materials, architecture, landscaping, lighting, access points, and parking. The panel does not deal with land use matters such as zoning and use of the property, as those are established through the council zoning process. In terms of the agenda today, we do have two items on the agenda. The order of business will be a presentation by the proponent, followed by staff comments, panel questions. There will then be an opportunity for any members of the public in attendance to ask questions. We will read any letters received into the record, and then the panel will deliberate. Projects that are successfully endorsed by the panel will proceed to City Council for their consideration upon fulfillment of any of the conditions associated with the application. So with that, we'll turn our attention to the agenda. The first item of business is a motion to adopt the minutes of the Development Permit Panel meeting held on October 21st, 2024. May I have a motion, Kirk or Roland? Seconded. All those in favor? That is carried. The first item on the agenda is Development Permit 23-011375. The applicant is NSDA Architects. Property location is 7188 Westminster Highway. And we do have a staff recommendation to consider a permit to permit exterior renovations on the existing building. With that, I'll turn it over to the applicant. Sorry, Brian, we can't hear you. Still no sound. Still nothing.
What about now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all right. It's all sorted now. With that, we'll let you proceed with your presentation.
All right. So, I'm going to introduce Atsushi Fujimi, who's our project manager for this, and he's going to do the presentation as he's the most familiar with the details. So, I'll turn it over to you, Atsushi.
Thank you, Brian. Actually, I believe I can share the file now. Can you see it?
Yes.
Good. All right. So the the project is to renovate the existing Ramada Hotel on Westminster Highway, and to upgrade to the boutique hotel to meet the standard of Aiden by Best Western. Existing condition, as you can see the photos, it's a little getting outdated, especially for the, for example, glass canopies, which is very difficult to maintain. And also the terrace in the parquet ramp is started falling apart. The planta was also stones failing and then cracks happening with settling the foundation wall, which is safety hazard. So we are proposing to also the client would like to add the outside exterior seating area to the project. So current design doesn't have any extra exterior seating area, and we are proposing to add two areas, which is first one is in front of the entry, where the seating area, where people can wait for the shuttle bus to the airport. And the other one is to the seating area from the excuse me, breakfast area, showing the middle section of the building to add more space to the exterior. This is pretty much the changes. So for the exterior change, you'll be changing the stucco color and then replacing the existing stone with cultured stone, which the selection of colors based on the existing window mullion, and then stucco color and then stone all kind of share the same character of the hues. So here's just some details we are proposing. One is that this showing is the terrace replacement. Current wood terrace will be replaced with the steel. And design is taken by since this is the predominantly airport hotel, we'd like to bring some elements of the airplane. So the circular cutout will be the resemblance of the airplane frame, and also the front canopies that has a rounded edge, which is the kind of provide the image of the airplane wing as well to further emphasize the idea. We're also proposing to add the retractable awning, which provides the protection from the rainy season for the guests. And this is that the rendering shows one is extended and then once it's retracted. Perhaps I'll leave that landscape portion to the landscape architect. If let's see, Mackenzie, can you take over and then explain your concept?
Awesome. Thank you, Sushi. So I'll mainly be just addressing the planting for this project. And so our main intent for the selection of planting species here is just to keep it to shade-tolerant species, as this is north-facing, as well as having a variety of flowering species as well as evergreen species, just to keep that year-round interest. We have some larger, denser shrubs proposed, kind of adjacent to the seating areas, the lounge area, as well as the dining, to provide that privacy, as well as some the majority of the rest of the planting is lower growing ground covers and perennials in order to keep that visibility and keep the space kind of open and feel more comfortable and safe. This is also the intent with the species selection for the trees. We felt it was appropriate to keep it to two smaller multi-stem trees, just to keep that, to still provide some privacy and some of that interest, but also keep that visibility open and keeping natural surveillance in mind. We've also provided lighting along the planters, along the exterior of the planters, facing the sidewalk, and facing the interior where anyone will be walking, and that's just to keep that space bright and open, feel comfortable and safe. Sorry. Regarding the planters, we've kept them at the same height as the existing planters, and then once we confirm what's happening as what's going to be salvaged and what's going to be replaced and rebuilt, then we can look into how the envelope wants to deal with waterproofing, and then we can look into reducing the heights if that's possible, given that we have room for planting material. I guess I'll pass it on to Stephen and if you have any other comments that I might have missed, and if not, back to you.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Not too much. We have bike racks that were added as part of the process. Currently, there's none. And then we're introducing some new paving and just refreshing up the front, really, just in keeping with the new facade of the building. So that's all I have to say right now. I'll hand it back to Sushi, and if there's any final comments.
Thank you, Stefan. Brian, do you have anything to add?
I don't think so. I guess we'll hear if the panel has any comments.
All right, so if that concludes your presentation, if you could please stop sharing screen, and Josh, if you could provide any staff comments.
Yes, thank you, and through the chair to the panel. This development, there is no servicing agreement associated with the scale of this project, given the limited improvements or changes to the project. There is no increase in floor area as part of this proposal. All traffic to and from the site is to operate off from Westminster Highway through the same entrance and exit. As the applicant did note through this application, the applicant is also providing new Class 1 and Class C bicycle parking as part of the proposed overall upgrades and improvements to the project.
Thank you, Josh. Any questions of panel members at this time?
I was just going to add, you mentioned, I think you mentioned on the decks, the glass, or it's tough to keep clean. Did I hear that correctly? Are they replacing the glass as well on the building, or some other treatment?
Yes, actually, I forgot to mention that we actually is keeping the steel structure and then replacing the glass with a solid roof and aluminum soffit with a wood grain to make it warmer feel.
Okay, good, thank you.
Sophie, does that also extend to the balcony glass, or is the balcony glass being retained?
Balcony glass will be retained.
Thank you. Roland, anything?
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. Support the project. Looks like it's in need of a fresh up, as they say. On one of your pictures in the presentation, I think it's on my slide 8 of 24, it shows a bit of a ramp down from, I guess, the private plaza to the city sidewalk. And in the drawings, it was hard for me to zoom in of what you're proposing. Is it continue to be a bit of a ramp, or are you actually going to smoothly tie it in so there's no accessibility challenges with that transition? I can share my screen if I need to clarify that.
Ryan, Sushi, or is anyone able to comment in terms of the retrofitting of the entry area and the tie-in to the city sidewalk? Will that be regraded?
The existing grade will be retained. We are not intending to regrade the area. I believe the ramp, I'm sorry, I couldn't catch the name, is that that's actually just for the exit ramp from the stairs, so that no use as an accessible entry to the building.
I'll just take a moment here. So I believe the area in question is this area here.
Correct.
So as part of the pavers that are being installed around the new entry area, will this transition area be regraded?
Yeah, it's anticipated that it'll be a smooth transition once that, because there's been some settlement over the years, so we'll just account for that. Sometimes you don't really know what you're dealing with until the paving's off, so we'll have to see what the tolerances are. But the idea would be that that would be a smooth transition, that it would be no issue for people in wheelchairs or mobility issues to cross there.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
I do have just a few questions. I believe I understood correctly, but these renovations are associated with a brand change, if I understood correctly, from a Ramada to a Best Western. Is that correct, or is the brand remaining Ramada?
Yes. Dave, would you like to comment?
Currently it is no longer a Ramada. It is a Best Western brand, Shore Stay by Best Western, and the goal of this project is to convert it to an Aiden by Best Western, which is a much more boutique brand.
Thank you for that. Just a couple of other questions, and maybe you can walk me through. In terms of exterior lighting, any change to the exterior lighting as a result of this?
Yes, we are adding the wall sconce on the plant area, which is actually requested by the city. And also we are adding a few upright for the trees, a couple of trees to be uplit.
And in turn, could you maybe speak to the SEPTED considerations, especially around what appears to be in the renderings quite a inviting entryway with the couches and such? How will access to that area be managed?
Dave?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
So as part of the refresh of the entry, it would appear you're adding quite a bit of outdoor seating in the form of couches. And I'm just wondering what sort of crime prevention through environmental design considerations, security considerations may be associated with the monitoring of that area. Is there security cameras?
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll upgrade the security cameras in the area.
And is there on-site security as part of this development as well, or is it just managed by the hotel staff?
It's just been managed by the whole hotel staff for the past 23 years. There hasn't been a need for on-site security.
Okay, thank you for that. Evangel, do we have any letters or public delegations on this application?
None, Mr. Chair.
All right, so I guess that brings us to panel deliberation. Any comments, further comments? I would echo Mr. Zwag's comments that I think the proposed renovations and to the exterior will be a benefit to the area and to the project. I'm glad to see that careful attention is being paid to the landscaping, and that where salvage is possible, that will be done, and where it's not possible, new material will be installed. So anything further, Kirk or Roland?
Nothing further, Mr. Chair. I'm ready to move it.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll let you do so.
I'll move the development permit be issued for the exterior renovations at 7188 Westminster Highway.
All right. Thank you. We have it second. I'll call the question. All those in favor? All right. Thank you very much. You've received positive endorsement from the panel. This project would proceed to council for their consideration once any conditions are fulfilled. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate this.
That brings us to item number 2 on today's agenda, which is a development permit 24-012258. The applicant is Jim Ralph. The property address is 3200 Number 3 Road. The purpose of the development permit is to permit the construction of a 315 unit hotel at 3200 Number 3 Road. With that, I'll pass it along to Jim.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. Well, Chair, panel members, thank you for considering our application. Currently, this is the project has already gone through DP. This is a bit of a pivot due to market conditions. We're changing an existing office into hotel. It's really because of the market. Just thank you for your considerations. We have Dave Karpenick is from Bingham Hill Architects, will be one of our presenters, then followed by David will be Dylan Chernoff, who is our landscape architect. So I'm going to hand it over to David.
Thanks, Jim. I'll be sharing my screen, and Doug Nelson, partner here, will be giving the presentation, and we'll hand off to Dylan partway through.
Thanks, David. As mentioned, this application is submitted to address revisions to the approved DP associated with facilitating a permitted change of use from office to hotel, which affects specifically building L, levels 2 up to the roof. The building form is proposed to be revised such that the floor plates are smaller, the ceilings are lower, and additional floors are added without exceeding the maximum allowable floor area or building height, and providing a similar street wall presence along the Sea Island Way and Number 3 Road frontages. Next slide. Project is located at southeast corner of Number 3 Road and Sea Island Highway. It consists of 2 towers, buildings K and L, over a common single-story commercial podium and 2 stories of underground parking. Building L is located on the north portion of the site, facing Number 3 Road and Sea Island Way. All of Phase 4 and the adjacent Phase 3 are currently under construction. Next slide. Contact site photos. These are Google Street View shots from June of this year. Top row images are views of the site from Sea Island Way with Phase 3 Building J under construction. The middle row shows views from the site from Number 3 Road, with the new capstan station, which is approaching completion later this year, we understand. Bottom row views are from Sexsmith Road, showing Phase 2 and adjacent Concord Gardens, with precedent frame elements predominant on the elevations. Next slide. These photographs were taken on site at the end of August this year. Top row views of Phase 4 showing portions of P1 and Level 1 under construction. The bottom row view of Phase 3 to the east. All services for Phase 4 Building K and L are provided within Building L. Vehicle access to Phase 3 is provided through the auto court on Phase 4. The reconfigured form of Building L has been designed to make use of the already constructed below-grade structure, columns, shear walls, elevator location, etc., without requiring structural modification. Summary of statistics. This change of use to hotel is permitted under the current zoning bylaw, secondary uses. The building has been reconfigured from level 2 and up to the roof to better accommodate hotel use by reducing the width of the floor plate in the north-south direction, reducing the floor-to-floor height at each floor, which results in the ability to add 3 floors to the project. The gross floor area remains the same at just under 26,900 square meters. The building height remains the same at 47 meters in height. The number of stories is increased from 12 to 15. Street frontage massing facing public areas along Sea Island Way and Number 3 Road is very similar to the previous office design, as the majority of physical change to the building has occurred on the south side facing the courtyard. In addition to revisions associated with Building L modifications from level 2 and up, some revisions were required at the ground plane. Through development of the servicing agreement, the design of the Sea Island pedestrian right-of-way at the north side was required to be modified to accommodate a larger turning radius from Number 3 Road to Sea Island Way, and the sidewalk and bike path to be fully located within the right-of-way and over the parking structure. The previous approved hotel drop-off at the south side has been removed from the new Constable Thomas Agar Road and relocated to the auto court to avoid potential traffic blockage on Constable Thomas Agar Road. Starting at level 2, the building width is reduced in the north-south direction by pushing the south wall to the north approximately 30 feet to provide appropriately sized hotel suites. This adjustment benefits the outdoor amenities of the courtyard by increasing the overall outdoor amenity space by about 250 square meters. This allows for the outdoor amenity, which was previously shared between hotel guests and residents of Building K, to be reconfigured into 2 separate outdoor amenities, one for the exclusive use of residents only, and one for the shared use between the 2 hotel facilities, with the option for residents to use this amenity by way of pay per use or membership. Additionally, some internal changes to Building K are made at this level to further enhance both amenities. All of the non-residential amenity is consolidated in Building K, providing an expanded exercise room and spa facility with the direct access to the outdoor amenity. Previously, this was split between Building K and L. In addition, the resident indoor amenity is now provided at this level adjacent to the resident outdoor amenity, which was previously located on hotel level 6. In balancing out the allowable floor area for Building K, the floor plate is expanded slightly over the entrance to the hotel at the south side, and 1 additional hotel suite is provided there. At this point, I'll pass the baton to Dylan Chernoff from Durante Crute to describe the associated landscape modifications.
Thank you, Doug. To accommodate the previously mentioned circulation and public realm treatment in the servicing agreement, the landscape was updated along the project frontages. The other updates related to the change in use were a minor change to the outline of the water feature. As mentioned, the hotel drop-off was relocated to the auto court, so there were some changes there. And as a result of both updates, the bike racks were redistributed throughout the site. Next slide, please. Thanks. The courtyard changes include, with the new building layout, having that opportunity to expand the footprint of the courtyard opened up a lot of other opportunities. As mentioned, the change of use allowed 2 separate outdoor areas, one serving the hotel and the other dedicated for the residents. The residential portion includes terraces that accommodate outdoor seating areas, kids play and a flexible lawn area. While the hotel component offers entertaining areas, pool and spa, programmable pods, and as mentioned, there is access to the residents through either membership or an agreement later to come. I'll turn the presentation back to the architectural team to conclude.
Thanks, Dylan. So as we continue on from the level 2 plan upwards in building L, level 3, there's new inaccessible green roof provided over the expanded indoor amenity at the northwest corner of building K, and at the also an inaccessible green roof remains at the southeast corner of building L, which has been maintained and reconfigured to suit the new building form. The floor plan at the southeast corner of building L is revised to accommodate structural requirements and provide for better interior suite layouts. The exterior walls are now aligned with the floors above.
Sorry, Doug, I'll just correct you. It's actually building K, the southeast corner.
The second item, I apologize, building K.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Next slide, level 6. So we've got repeat floor levels going on between the ones we're showing. Level 6, the previously approved resident indoor amenity was located at the southwest corner of the hotel floor with access to adjacent outdoor space. With the resident amenity now provided at level 2, the amenity is no longer required at this floor and is replaced with hotel suites. That would be the bottom left to southwest corner of building K. The outdoor space is now revised to become non-resident outdoor amenity for the use of the hotel guests. Next slide. Level 9, which is a typical residential floor. This floor shows the improved spatial condition between the residential floors of buildings K and L. At this level, the increased spatial separation of these levels is approximately 20 feet. Next slide indicates the roof condition. Here we show the inaccessible green roof is maintained and reconfigured for building L to suit the shape of the new building form. The green roof area is smaller than previous, kind of obviously, but however, as noted earlier, the accessible courtyard grows in size accordingly. Next slide. Building section comparison shows that the middle of the courtyard is increased horizontally in space between the new building L hotel and the building K's hotel use lower floors. That increase is about 10 meters on the lower portion and about 6 meters in the upper portion as increased separation. Vertically, the floor-to-floor dimensions within building L have been reduced by approximately 0.8 meter per floor, which allows for 3 additional floors to be added within the NavCan maximum allowable building height of 47 meters. Next slide. We're going to run through some 3D massing comparisons from different viewpoints. 3D massing perspectives from the northeast and northwest show the proposed building massing fronting Sea Island Way and Number 3 Road is generally in keeping with the previously approved office massing. The facade design, including frame elements, window pattern, colors, and materiality, are provided in a similar strategy to the already approved project. The bottom right image shows the expanded indoor amenity at the north side of Building K and the pool in the courtyard. Where previously the glazing system at the ground level retail between Building K and L continued up to form a full height glazed guardrail system at the edge of the courtyard, it is now modestly higher to provide a full height guardrail for the elevated pool deck and the exterior wall for the expanded indoor space. The top right image shows the reduced building mass at the south side of Building L and the continuity of facade treatment facing the courtyard in comparison to the previous design. The bottom right image shows the building massing and design fronting Number 3 Road and Canada Line is similar to the approved office building. Next slide. Thank you. The design, facade design strategy reincorporates vertical frame elements, window patterning, colors, and materialities similar to the approved previous office facade. The tighter mullion spacing, operable windows, sliding glass doors, and Juliet balconies reflect the new use as a hotel. Next slide. Materials and colors from the previously approved office building are reincorporated into the new hotel building for continuity.
Sorry, that was that one.
Missed that.
I'm just catching up with you. Here we are.
Hilarious. Basically, materials and colors, there's nothing new on this reconfigured building. We're utilizing the same palette of materials and colors in a nutshell. Thanks, David. Building K south elevation revisions were undertaken at the east side of the building and will be further described in the following slide. There's a small revision to the hotel entrance shown, sort of the center lower end portion of the drawing. The entry vestibule bumps out slightly and swing doors are revised to automatic sliding doors, kind of minor adjustments. The next slide. Exterior walls at the southeast corner of levels 3 to 7 are revised and realigned with the floors above to better accommodate the structure and hotel suite layouts. The exterior materials are revised from level 3 to 14 to provide a continuous vertical element similar to neighboring developments and a more attractive arrival condition from Carscallon Road. I believe this is the end of our presentation. I thank you for the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, quite comprehensive. Josh, any staff comments?
I'll echo your comment with respect to a very comprehensive presentation. I don't have too much more to add from staff comment level. However, I would like to highlight servicing work, including frontage improvements along Number 3 Road, Sea Island, and construction of the new Constable Thomas Agar Road were secured through the previous approved rezoning and development permit for the project. Hotel use is a permitted use within the zone, and this project does not result in any change in overall FAR to the project. The proposed design is generally consistent with the previous approved DP for this project, and as indicated by the applicant, the expanded landscaped area that results from the change of this massing does result in additional podium level dedicated outdoor amenity space for the residents in Building K, separating that from the outdoor amenity for the hotel guests. It also results in additional building separation between the two buildings. That's it for staff comments.
Thank you, Josh. Panel members, any questions for staff or the applicant at this time?
Well, it's a very thorough presentation, and it sounds like all the changes are very consistent with the previous approval. So it sounds positive.
I do have a couple questions for the design team, if I may. In terms of the changes to the outdoor amenity area on the podium level, the children's play equipment, was the children's play equipment revised, or was it simply a relocation of the previously approved play equipment?
I would have to double check in our set of drawings, compared one to the other, but it was really the intent to keep the same level of play suitable for this size of development.
Perhaps, Dylan, you could just talk to the elements that are included then in terms of children's play, what type of play equipment. I think in the presentation there was reference to active and passive play areas, so just an overview of what might be or what is included in terms of those two elements.
Well, the passive play elements would be things like a lawn. And so it's a very good opportunity for people to just use for a number of different ways, whether it's cartwheels or somersaults. And then there's play equipment. And there's a significant area that has rubberized surface and physical play equipment with an adjacent seating area and some other places for parents to be.
And is that play equipment predominantly toddler aged, or is there a target age group for the play equipment?
It's generally for the younger age groups up to around 5.
Right, thank you for that. In terms of the changes to the ground floor plane along number 3 Road and Sea Island, I'm wondering if somebody could just describe, in terms of the changes specifically along Sea Island, it looks like there was a slight reduction in the retail frontage along Sea Island. And so I'm looking for a bit of information as to what sort of screening or landscape treatment might be happening along the eastern end of the building along Sea Island Way.
What happened is with the additional uses, so with the SA agreement and the introduction of the bike lane and the sidewalk onto the property, everything got squished. And so there was still a landscape buffer that was included to separate the public from the semi-public area. And then stairs got introduced. There were also transition ramps that had to happen between the 2 levels. So whereas we had the opportunity to just simply slope out, that got squished up. So it's a slightly different iteration of the same approach to the landscape.
And where we have the sort of service areas along the east edge of building L, is there landscaping adjacent to the building, and if not, what is the surface treatment in that location?
As far as that, the east end of the building is a 0 lot line. Is that correct, Doug?
I believe so, yes.
So really, we're building up until that in anticipation of a future use that would continue the expression along there.
Well, I'm referring to as it fronts Sea Island, not the east property line. So where we have, it's referenced as a main electrical room and the cooling towers, I believe.
Oh, the interface between the landscape and the building face?
Yes.
So, Dylan, did you just want to comment on what the materiality is there? There is no landscape that is right in front of the building. It's all hard surface.
That's right. Did you want me to pull up the screen and share the drawing?
Sure, that would be great.
Oh, okay. I just popped mine up. Whoops, you already did it. All right.
Okay. So specifically, are we looking at in this area here?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so at this design here, we're just looking at having a continuity of the promenade along this face. So there was really no intent to have any landscape between that public realm treatment and the building.
And I'm assuming with those areas being more service oriented, is that what is the surface treatment of the building?
Doug, David, did you want to pop that up?
Sure. So, in the zone, the eastern portion was always previously part of like the storefront aluminum system with just solid panels in it. It is essentially the same. It looks like we've changed the color of the panels. They're previously like a bluey white, and now they are a darker panel system, which then ties into a horizontal dark band that separates the lower storefront from the upper hotel floors.
And so is it still glazing?
It wasn't glazing before.
It was not.
It was like spandrel. It was a spandrel material, so it would it's like
That's right.
a solid wall. Yeah.
All right. Is it textured or is it smooth finish? I'm just a bit concerned about tagging, things like that in the future.
As it is right now, it's a smooth finish.
All right. Thank you for that. Roland, any questions from yourself?
No question, Mr. Chair.
I believe we do have a letter, have received a letter on this application. Josh, may I ask you to read that letter into the record or the
Yes, Mr. Chair. So staff did receive correspondence from Mr. Francis Lung dated September the 11th. In their correspondence, the writer notes a shortage of hotel rooms in the Metro Vancouver and highlights some transportation-related concerns that they had with respect to potential hotel shuttle operations and conflicts with potential pickup and drop-off occurring on the hotel property, as well as the adjacent Sprouts Early Childhood Development Center to the east, as well as other operations and roads in the neighborhood. In response to those comments, I can offer a couple of following points. The hotel use is a permitted use on the subject site as per the site zoning. Transportation staff have reviewed and approved the traffic memo provided by a registered transportation engineer, which demonstrates that the proposed volumes, access, parking operations are accessible and are in compliance with the city standards and bylaw requirements. In addition, the proposed hotel use does result in fewer trips being anticipated during the weekdays as compared to it being an office use. The hotel is also a dedicated on-site auto court for all drop-offs and pickups that would be happening on site at the north end of Carscallon Road. So all happening off of the roadway itself. Likewise, Sprouts has a dedicated underground space within its building for those pickups and drop-offs to occur, as well as staff parking in the underground parkade of that building. While there's no planned or restricted day for on-street pickup or drop-off for Sprouts, people are encouraged to use that drop-off space within the building itself. According to the applicant's transportation consultant and city staff, the portion of Carscallon Road between phases 2 and 3 can handle all two-way traffic, and based on the traffic assessments provided, there are no current plans to close or change any of the operations in that area. I would also note that the site is in very close proximity to the future Captain Canada Line station expected to open in the coming months.
Thank you very much. Evangel, any members of the public wishing to address the panel on this item?
Yes, we do have one member of the public wishing to address the panel. I'll just invite him to proceed to the podium here.
Thank you.
I'm Mr. Craig. I'm Francis. I was the one that wrote you the letter, or I guess to the panel yesterday. Sorry, I wasn't really able to hear Joshua's speech. It's kind of mumbling in the chambers today. Can you just kind of repeat the second part where you talk about the drop-off of the childcare?
So, through the chair to the delegate, the Sprouts Childhood Early Development Center does have a dedicated pickup and drop-off area that occurs within the parkade of the existing building where that facility is located. It also has a dedicated staff parking in that area as well.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying the childcare actually has it inside the phase 2. That's what you're saying. Okay. And I guess, I do have a little bit of misgiving because the access is coming through the auto court, coming through the interior of the residential neighborhood. It would have been more considerable to have the access to the auto court coming perhaps on the Sea Island Way side, but I guess since the chart's already been all drawn and everything, that's not really going to be something that the panel can do. Can Mr. Craig potentially refer this to the Director of Transportation regarding the 3 questions I had on part 3 of my letter yesterday, perhaps?
Maybe I'll address both parts of your question. In terms of driveway access, Sea Island Way is actually under the control of the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. It's a provincial road. Driveway access to a provincially controlled highway is something that is generally not provided. That is why the access is arranged off Carscallen Road. In terms of your comments about transportation concerns in the area and potential review of the layout, yes, we will ask Mr. Reese to refer that information to the Director of Transportation for review and for them to get in touch with you with any further information with respect to that.
Okay. And the last question I probably have is there a reason why the plant has like 94 bike racks on property?
It's one of the city's goals to try and create as much of a modal shift to active modes of transportation as possible. So we do require, as part of all new developments, that they provide short-term and long-term secure parking for the use. So as part of our long-term sustainability objectives, we are trying to encourage active modes of transportation, which is part of the reason why the bike lane introduction along both Number 3 Road and Sea Island Way is part of this development.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you for taking the time to address the panel.
Of course, thank you.
With that, if Evangel, no one else is there to delegate, I assume.
Mr. Chair.
It is time for panel deliberation. I'd like to kick it off. I do appreciate the intent and the design considerations that have been put forward. I would like to see a little bit further investigation of that sort of northeast corner along Sea Island Way, just in terms of materiality. I'm not looking for any changes to setbacks, building location, but I am looking for the design team to work with staff to see if there's a way to increase visual interest and to discourage any sort of graffiti that may happen on that smooth surface. May I have some comment from Roland and Kirk?
Mr. Chair, are you asking for a seconder to refer it back for the proponent to work with staff to address your concerns?
Not a referral, Roland. I'm happy to endorse this with direction to staff and the applicant to work on this matter. So I'm not looking to have this item come back to the panel, but I am looking for a bit of a closer look at that area of the building before this proceeds to council.
Okay.
Kirk, are you okay with that direction?
Yep. Yes, Sam. Yep.
Somebody willing to move that staff recommendation subject to that direction?
I'll move the staff recommendation.
I'll second it.
All right. So with that, I will call the question on the motion. All in favor? Thank you very much. Appreciate your presentation. It was very thorough. If you could work with staff on that corner of the building, it would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evangel, and Josh, any new business?
No new business, Mr. Chair.
None, Mr. Chair.
And our next meeting is scheduled for September 25th. Is that correct?
Yes, there is an item scheduled for that meeting.
All right. May I have a motion to adjourn? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.